welcome you to the Aurora Chavez Student Network of Ottawa's annual Bar and Bat Mitzvah Gala. My name is Vivian Genfeld, and I'm going to be your MC this evening. So I'd like to kick things off with a small question. What really is a bar mitzvah? So I did some research. Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines a bar mitzvah as the defining moment when a Jewish male decides that he's actually more likely to own a professional sports team than he is to play for one. But then I asked, well, what's a bat mitzvah? Well, Merriam-Webster's dictionary also said that a bat mitzvah is the defining moment when a Jewish female realizes that she is every day more like her mother. But in all seriousness, a bat and bar mitzvah is the moment when a Jewish boy and a girl become men and women, finally responsible for their own actions. Literally translated from Hebrew, it means the son and daughter of the commandments, the 613 mitzvahs of the Torah. We celebrate this moment with family and friends because this moment indicates a new special relationship between the bar and bat mitzvahs to God. Although Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines God as Jewish mothers, what I'm actually referring to is the omnipresent who gave us all our Jewish souls, that spark of infinite potential. This spark is represented in Havdalah, a celebration for the departure of Shabbat, which is celebrated with wine, spices, and a candle's flame. Now, I'd like to let you all in on a little secret. Just like a bar and bat mitzvah develop a special relationship with God, all Jews have the privilege of developing a special creation with the Creator on Shabbat. And we celebrate the spark of infinite potential with Havdalah. Now, before I call up Rabbi Bayarski for Havdalah, I'd like to introduce our honorees this evening, celebrating their bar and bat mitzvah with us here tonight, that infinite spark of potential. Guy Simon and Yana Bryan. Guy and Yana, we are so privileged to be celebrating this special moment with you tonight. Now, on the count of three, I want everyone here to shout a really, really loud mazel tov. Okay? Got it? 1, 2, 3.
Mazel tov!
And now, Rabbi Yarski, please, to the stage.
So as we conclude Shabbat, we recite a prayer. It's called the Havdalah prayer, which divides between the holiness of Shabbat and the mundane of the week. We're going to honor the mothers of both Yana and Guy to come up to light the candles for Havdalah, and we're going to honor 3 other volunteers to come up and light the candle for Havdalah. If you can have the lights turned off, please. On your tables, there's the besamim that we're going to smell during the Havdalah, and we're going to have candles. When we do the prayer for the fire, we put our fingernails next to the fire, and we see the reflection of the fire in our fingernails. Just get a picture with both mothers in Cheder, please. Shara? If you want to stand by your tables, next to one of the tables. Hine el Yeshua siyaftach v'layachad ki yazi v'zim rasya adinoi v'yihili Yeshua ushat v'nasam Yeshua l'nei Yeshua l'mchaber chasachas Allah adinoi tzivah oisimanu mizgalon v'yavsal shadum de'achvach ne'eshiyah Hamelach Yaneinu v'yayim kardeinu. Repeat after me, please. Vayehudim, Haisa, Aira, Simcha, Sason, Vikar, Kain, Tiyeh, Lanu. Kais Yeshua is Asa v'Shem Adinei Ekras v'Maranon Baruch Atah Adinei Mechalam Vaydei Pri Yagafen. You now make a bracha for the spices on your table. The spices, and after we make the bracha, we smell the spices. Baruch Atah Adinei Eloheinu Melech Haolam Vaydei Minei V'Samim. We make the bracha for the fire now. After we make the bracha, we try to see the reflection of our fingernails in the fire. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam boidei moidei yohesh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh l'chayil ben oyer l'choshech ben Yisrael lo'amim ben yoyim hashvi l'sheishes yimei hamaseh. Baruch atah Adonai hamavdil ben kodesh l'chayil. Read the candles back, please. Shavua Tov, everyone. Shavua Tov.
I'd like to ask for the light to be turned on now. Thank you. And now, Yocheved, before you sit down, I'd love to call you up to the stage to share a few special words with everyone here tonight.
So special to see all of you came out to give your support, show your support and your love for Yana, for Guy, for this special day, this special evening of theirs, and it's a really, really beautiful thing. I wanted to just share a few words of inspiration on reflecting on the meaning of Bar and Bat Mitzvah, and how this particularly is relevant tonight in our setting. So there's a story that's told of a wise man who had 3 sons, and he wanted to know which of his 3 sons he is going to leave his entire business to take over, and he wanted to see who really has this spark of wisdom where they have a certain knack for understanding. They would really understand what it would take to really take over his business. So he really wanted to see who can really. So he gave them a challenge. He said, here's a room, and I want to see which of you 3 can come up with filling up this entire room. It has to be only one thing, but that one thing has to fill up this entire room. So do whatever it takes and use whatever resources you need, but in 1 month from now, we're going to put you to this challenge, to put you to this test, and you are going to present with me that one thing that could fill up the entire room. So the 3 sons got quickly to work on thinking, what is it going to be? And they're planning and they're figuring it out. Anyways, the big day comes when they are supposed to present filling up the room. And massive, huge, big trucks pull up. 2 big, enormous trucks. And the first to go was the oldest. And he had his truck unload tons and tons and tons of rocks. His thing was rocks. And he filled it up to maximum capacity. And he said to his father, don't you see? You can't even get one more rock into this room. It's completely full. The father was pretty impressed. He said, okay, next person's turn. So they had the machinery come and clear out all the rocks back onto the truck. Time for the next brother to go. And this brother had something similar, but his was sand. entire room with sand, and the trucks spent hours loading it all, filling it all up, and the whole room was packed with sand. And he showed his father, you see, can't fill any more. None of these bags of sand that are sitting out here, still in the truck, can fit. We're completely full, maximum capacity. So the father was pretty impressed. Everything was emptied out back onto the truck. The room was totally emptied out. The third son came, and he asked for the lights to be turned on in the room. It was dark, and he struck a match. And he held up the light, and he said, this light, look around, fills up the whole room, doesn't it? Everyone looked, and it was true. That one light was filling up that entire darkened room that was before dark, now is full of light. And his father was amazed and said, you did it. That was unbelievable. With just one little match, you didn't need truckloads, you didn't need, to turn over the whole world. You just struck a match, and right there, you filled up a room that was devoid of light. Now it was full of light. It may not have been the brightest, but it filled every corner of that darkness, somehow was full with that light. In Judaism, we're taught, there's a famous verse that we're taught by our sages, Ki ner mitzvah v'Torah or, that a mitzvah is a candle and Torah is a light. We are here to celebrate a bar and bat mitzvah. So what is a mitzvah? A mitzvah, we know, the just plain translation of mitzvah is it's a commandment, right? In Judaism, we're taught, we know that we have lots of commandments. God wanted us to fulfill these particular different commandments, and by fulfilling them each time, it's called doing a mitzvah. But there's also another meaning to the word mitzvah. Mitzvah also comes from a different root word, which means connection, connect. Every time we do a mitzvah, we are connecting ourselves to our Creator. And even more than that, we're connecting ourselves to two more things. There's a saying that we are taught, we have three interlocking entities. Yisrael, Oraisa, V'Kucha Brichu, Kulachad. These three interlock. What are they? That's in Aramaic. The Jewish people, the Torah, and God. When you have all three, you have an interlocking structure that can't be broken. So every single time you do a mitzvah, every time you learn Torah, you are connecting to God, you're connecting to the Jewish people. There's that idea of connection. So we're here to celebrate tonight with Yana, with Guy, who didn't have that opportunity when they were younger, when they reached the standard age of celebrating the bar and the bat mitzvah. Now we are making a statement by saying there's never too late. There's never, ever too late in life to celebrate this idea of connection. When we are now affirming, I am connected to the Jewish people. I am connected to God. I am connected to the Torah. And this means so, so much to me. So, and this also was what kept the Jewish people going throughout our history. Our history, unfortunately, for the past 2,000 years, was not very rosy, not very pretty. There were a lot of very, very dark moments throughout our history. And what kept the Jewish people going, the miracle that we are all here today, is really because of that connection that the Jewish people refused to ever give up. Their connection to the Jewish people, to each other, the connection to the Torah, the connection to God. And by learning the Torah and keeping the mitzvot and affirming our steadfast faith, that is how we pass on to the next generation and for all future generations. So I want to wish both Yana and Guy that with all that you encounter in the future, in your lives ahead, that you feel that bond, you feel that connection, and you let it permeate your surroundings, just like the light filled up the entire room. You allow the light of the Torah, because Torah is a light, and the mitzvot are the candle. You allow that to spread and to really bring light and warmth wherever you go. So I want to wish you mazel tov and lots of joy and success in all the years ahead. And we're very excited to be celebrating with you. Mazel tov.
So now, I'm very excited to share with you a very special video in which our bat mitzvah girl shared some special reflections on this amazing moment.
Lights.
Can we get the lights off, please?
My parents had been talking about having me have my bat mitzvah, having a big party for it, and just sort of going through the whole process, but I guess life interfered and it didn't come out the way that they wanted to. So I don't know if it was the specific thing that I felt that I had missed out on, but just this general feeling of I didn't do something that's this important for my Jewish identity. So now that I can do it later on, I guess it puts me more on an even footing, sort of. I am starting this process of becoming a Jewish adult. It might be a little bit late, but it's still a step along the right path. Well, I saw the post on Facebook and it came out through the emails. And at first I didn't really think about it, I was thinking, that's kind of awkward doing it this late, like why would I want to be part of that? But then, I kept thinking about it, and it just seemed at that point that it was something that meant a lot to me because I do have a lot of cousins in Israel, and they'd all done one. Sometimes it wasn't a big party, it wasn't a big gala, but they'd all in some shape or form gone through it. And since I want to be more connected to the Jewish community, it just felt like the best way to sort of reintroduce myself to the world, I suppose. And I'm excited to be part of it, and I'm really happy that this is going on, just because it seems like a hard topic to broach, just sort of, it didn't happen for me when I was 12, now I'm almost 19, we're almost there, so it's very nice. There's a very formal side of a bat mitzvah, and for me, I don't feel that much of a connection to it. It's more just so, sort of, a life experience, a step that you go through to move forward. And as a kid, I didn't really feel that much of a connection to Judaism at all. I was just, my parents said, okay, we go do this, and I would go do it, but it didn't really mean anything to me as a whole. But the older I get, the more I realize that it's a huge part of me, and I guess this is just something along my step to sort of personal growth throughout that I really want to take.
And the lights, please. The lights, please. Thank you. So now I'd like to introduce to you, in the flesh, our bat mitzvah girl.
Thank you for the introduction. I hope you don't mind that I have paper in front of me. This was sort of an on-the-spot affair. But I wanted to say thank you to everyone that's here today, because it's not just my family and my friends, but it's a bunch of people that I haven't had, the pleasure of meeting until today, and hopefully over and over again from now on. Someone's phone is here. So I just want to say thank you for showing up to a bar and bat mitzvah for people that you may not know. I look forward to meeting you. I also really wanted to say thank you to Rabbi Yarsky and everyone that he worked with to make this happen today. Life has a habit of sort of derailing every plan that you ever seem to make, so this sort of milestone means a lot, and he's a force of nature when it comes to making things happen. So thank you very much for that. I am honored to be here today. like a lot of young Jews in Canada, I was born in Israel, but I moved away when I was very young. I moved away with my family when we immigrated here to Ottawa when I was about 4 and a half. So I didn't really have much of a connection to Israel or the Jewish community as a whole. I didn't speak Hebrew I didn't really know much about it. And as my parents and my family, we built a life in Ottawa's West End, reconnecting was really hard. I always knew as a child that, I was Jewish, but I knew only objectively what that actually meant. I didn't really understand what it meant for me. I went to celebrations and holidays hosted by a rabbi in Canada because that was what was expected, and it seemed like the right thing to do, but I didn't really truly connect to it. It's why I'm so grateful for this opportunity today, because as someone who was separated from daily Jewish life, as a child, reintegrating was daunting and honestly very stressful. Even a simple thing like washing my hands before a meal was something I needed someone to hold my hand, no pun intended, to do. I needed someone to tell me the words, to tell me what to do, to tell me what those words meant. And that meant that every single time I wanted to do something Jewish, it was sort of, a weighing of the odds. Did I want to go enough that I had to go through this, a couple hours of sort of listening to things that I didn't understand and awkwardly mumbling along and not really knowing what I was doing? Rabbi Bayersky is really, really good at welcoming that sort of person, the kind of person that, for whatever reason, I am today, at making, us feel welcome and at encouraging us to participate more without making us, go on a guilt trip for feeling terrible for not showing up as often. And I really appreciate that. So thank you again for the second time in this speech. This night sort of seems like the culmination of a number of things. When I was 12, like the videos I suppose, my family did talk about, celebrating my bat mitzvah, but life, interfered like it always does, and things get complicated, I guess. So the bat mitzvah never happened, but when I was 12, I didn't really notice that it didn't happen. It was sort of a thought, I thought once, and then I sort of forgot about it. It didn't really mean that much. My two best friends at the time were Russian-speaking Jews, just like me, but also like me. They moved away when they were very young, younger than me, and it didn't mean much to them either. Apart from them, my friends in elementary school didn't really know what a bat mitzvah was, if they even knew what Hanukkah was, and I really didn't pay attention to it. I went to a Jewish summer camp for a few years. It was an interesting experience and one I'm glad that I had, but I still didn't truly connect to the idea of being Jewish. Like the occasional night spent at a rabbi's house for Shabbat or for Pesach, everyone around me knew what they were doing, and I didn't. I'm the kind of person that likes to know what I'm doing, and when I don't, and when I have to fake it, it's stressful. It was a few weeks every single summer where instead of enjoying my connections with other Jewish girls, I had to deal with the fact that the girls 4 years younger than me knew what they were doing by heart, and I had to fake it. Needless to say, not having my bat mitzvah was just another thing on a long list of things that made me feel different. And like all kids, and like all people, I want to belong, and I wanted to belong. But it was only during summer camp that I really noticed that there was something missing. It was only during summer camp and when I was surrounded by enough other Jewish children to really realize that something was missing. Otherwise, it just seemed like a run-of-the-mill affair. This year marked the beginning of my first year in university. I can't honestly say that I went through a very long adjustment period. I've always loved school and I've loved learning, and many of my friends from high school are still my friends from high school because I grew up not far from here, and a bunch of them stayed. The one real major difference for me was meeting Rabbi Bayersky. It was the day all the clubs at Carleton had booths set up in the Carleton Field House, trying to attract new members. And I was there for about 20 minutes. I had 20 minutes in that massive, massive enclosure. And I spotted him across the room because he's quite tall, and I went straight over there. And that, well, to be short, was that. I'm eternally grateful for that random opportunity of chance because it opened a new door for me. Though school and work, life in general, as always, tend to get in the way, I have never felt more connected than I have of late. When Rabbi Bayersky mentioned this event, I was startled. At first, it just sounded weird. I'd grown up with the idea of a bat mitzvah being something that happened when you were 12, and the idea of doing it, I'm 19 now, and it seemed very, very odd. But now, having thought about it, and thought about it, and thought about it, and being asked, do you want to do this, I decided, yes, I did. Because even though it might not be the entire thing that I am missing, it's a step along the beginning of that road. So for me, this night is the beginning of a new chapter in my life as a Jew. Excuse me. I may never be the fully realized, observant Jew, I have a little bit of a learning curve to go over, but I will be more than I am now, and that's the beginning of it all. So thank you once again for coming tonight, and thank you for being part of this wonderful community. Your being here, family, friends, and strangers, though not for long I hope, means a lot, because it's the reason I want to be here myself. I want to be Jewish in full, and for me that means community. Community is a huge part of what I identify Judaism as being, and I want to be that. So I look forward to meeting you all, or as many as I can, because there's a lot of you here today. I look forward to it, and I look forward to seeing you again and again. So I appreciate your presence here tonight, and thank you very much.
So, Anna, it's truly a pleasure to be with you today. I'd like to call up here Jeremy, Benjamin, and Michael. And Sharon. Cheryl. Cheryl? Okay.
You got this.
And Cody, are you in the room?
So we have a small gift to present to the Bat Mitzvah girl. This is a beautiful silver-plated candlestick, two candlesticks, so that you can light these candlesticks and bring that light, that Jewish light, the Mitzvah Shabbat, into your life and lighten up your and brighten your surroundings, and with the beautiful light of Shabbat. So, Mazel Tov.
Thank you so much.
One down, one more to go. Before I ask for the lights to be turned down, I'm going to be very, very excited to present to you a video of our bar mitzvah boy, and he is sharing in this video some special thoughts of what being a bar mitzvah today means to him. So, lights off, video on.
When I first came here, I was born actually in Israel, and then I turned 5, and I came over to Canada. And when I came here to Canada, I actually didn't really know much about the Jewish community in the area, and I only found out about it later on when I went to my brother's bar mitzvah, which Chaim had done, and then that's probably about when I started getting more involved, when he started coming by, and he put the mezuzah in the house, and just more stuff like that, and now slowly I'm becoming more part of the Jewish community. Well, when I was about 14, my brother had become more involved with the Jewish community because he's at Auto U, he's about third year, something like that, so he started doing more events and everything like that, and I didn't really know what was going on, to be honest, because, I don't know, maybe I was just younger and not really paying attention, but I just saw this guy, which was Chaim, coming to my house, a big tall guy with a big beard, the cat. I thought that was really cool. He just came in and he started putting mezuzahs up, and he started talking about the faith and everything like that, and like talking to my family, and he kept being more involved and more involved, and then I saw, we already had like a bunch of menorahs, but he brought a little menorah too for us, so then we had like 4 menorahs, got menorahs everywhere. It was a really good time. And then after that, I just knew that I was going, because Chaim obviously had already told me, he's like, whenever you're ready, like, we're gonna have your bar mitzvah too, and I was like, I'm ready anytime. Like, he's like, you gotta wait until you're old enough. And I was like, and I was really excited then. So obviously now I'm finally at this point where I get to celebrate it, which is really cool. My family was very we're always very involved with like the Jewish faith in general. Like my mother is very much into it, and The only issue before was when we came here, there weren't very many Jewish people around whatsoever. So there weren't any big Jewish events and things like that. Now slowly becoming, as I'm doing more Jewish events, I see it's sort of like the involvement that being together has is very interesting because you don't really notice people around that are Jewish because we have so much diversity all around us because it's Canada and that's just how it is, which is really cool. So when you're involved and you're together, like it's a completely different feeling with people that have the same beliefs as you, and that's in turn how I found my current girlfriend, which is really cool. And she got me even more involved with the Jewish faith and everything like that. And it's really, I don't know, it's not a feeling that you can that many people can experience. And slowly as I got more involved, I saw more Jewish events which I was interested in, and I went to the Shabbat dinners, then I joined 80 Pi. Slowly I'm becoming more involved, because I know before I wasn't as much involved, but as I started doing more events and started going like for the Shabbaton, started going to the Shabbat dinners, become more involved and going to doing the learning classes at AutoU, everything just slowly kind of teaches you and lets you understand more about the Jewish faith and makes you want to become more involved with it, which is why I became more involved with it.
Lights, please. Slowly turning on. And now it's my pleasure to call up Guy to the stage to share with us some words.
Alright, so first and foremost, I want to say a huge thank you to all of you who came out to celebrate with me on that. I want to say a huge thank you to my friends who specifically came here, and whether or not they're involved in the Jewish community, they came to support me and they came to enjoy the celebration, which means a lot to me too as well. And huge shout out to the Chabad Student Network, like all these people around here. Thanks for everything. All the above. Thanks, guys. Alright, so I'll try to make this as short and sweet as I can. So basically, when I came to Canada, I was only about like 5 years old, and basically how it ended up happening was because my parents were born in Russia, and then they realized that there was war and different situations, and they had to move over to Israel, and then they had me and my brother, and sadly there's just more war, so suddenly they're like, okay, we should go to Canada, and hey, there's no war here, so they're like, alright, we should probably stay here, this sounds like a better option right now. So we ended up staying here, and it's been crazy, because basically, the reason that I'm here is a huge thank you to my parents for taking so much out of their lives, for coming here, including me. I would not know the people that I know without them, so yeah, thank you to my parents. Alright, so when I first came here, I went to a public school, and it was very different because I was younger, so I wasn't really involved with like the Jewish community, of course, right? So, excuse me. So when I came here, I didn't really know that there was a Jewish community, to be honest. So slowly, I started seeing my brother leaving his house or leaving our house to go do certain events, and then I started seeing this big, tall, bearded guy with like a huge hat. I was like, whoa, who is this guy? And of course, that's Chaim. And slowly, as everyone knows, that's how they transition into the Jewish community, is Chaim, because he is the master of introducing people into the Jewish community. So huge thank you to Chaim right now. Thank you. So after meeting Chaim and seeing all the things that he involved my brother and my family with, and coming to our house and bringing on trying not to repeat stuff that was up there, but bringing all the different stuff, bringing the mezuzah, bringing everything, and it was really amazing. And my first real sight of the Jewish community was at my brother's bar mitzvah, which I was like really baffled as I came in, because I heard like, oh, it's like a bar mitzvah. I didn't really understand it. I was younger. I didn't know as much about it. But when I came in there, I was like, wow, like there's like a full room of like a crowd of people here. I'm like, there's this many Jewish people here? And apparently that's a thing. So I freaked out. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I saw my brother go up on the stage. He gave this exact same speech. And it was incredible because I'm looking now, and I don't know if there's anybody in my same footsteps, but when I was younger, I was looking up here and thinking, I can't wait until I have this experience, because this is not an experience that everyone gets to have. It is just amazing, and it wouldn't be possible without everyone here, as well as Chaim and the Chabad Network. So that was amazing. After I got involved with my brother, after I saw my brother's bar mitzvah, I got reached out at Ottawa U about a fraternity called AE Pi. And when I came to AE Pi, I personally didn't want to join a fraternity before, but I found these guys were just so amazing because they called me out. They're like, hey, let me call you. There's a 25-cent wing night at like this bar. You guys want to come? I'm like, yeah, of course I want to come to a 25-cent wing night. So we go there, we meet up with a bunch of people. They're all really cool. I'm like, wow, thank you, thanks guys for having me. And then they started talking about like what is involved with AE Pi, and I didn't really realize, but I had this sort of view with religion in which it's all or nothing. And it seems like a lot of people have that, which it's really not. And I didn't realize it until I went into AE Pi with a bunch of different people that celebrate the faith in different senses, but it's not like, some of them were more involved and some were less involved, but it didn't feel like any of them were less Jewish. And that's a really distinct characterization of being Jewish. It may not be the complete involvement or the complete follow of the faith of the religion. It's the community, it's the people, it's that feeling that you have when you walk into a room and there's family. And that's an incredible feeling that not many people will get to experience. Slowly through becoming more with AE Pi and seeing more Jewish events, I went to more and more. And then I actually went to, this is number one, my friend Jer from AE Pi called me out and he's like, hey man, you want to come to New York City? I'm like, yeah, of course I want to come to New York City. He's like, yo, do you want to go? It's super cheap, it's going to be a good time. I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, Chabad hookups, like, Jewish hookups, like, I'm always down for that. So we go over, it was an amazing time, and I actually met my girlfriend there. And it was incredible because a lot of people talk about how maybe not dating with your respective religion may be a huge difference, but there was something about the connection that I had with her that wasn't like any other, and I don't see myself ever meeting a person like her ever again, because there was something about it deep down, and something about the connection, and something about the way I feel about her and the way that she feels about me that is absolutely surreal. And I thought that was one of the craziest things that came out of that entire trip, and that led me into becoming more and more Jewish. And what I found from this is the most important thing that I could get out of this entire thing, is that when you go and you do one event and you go to another, it doesn't feel as if you're pressured to go to the event. Once you go to one, once you become more involved with the Jewish community, you actually want to do more, which was something that really, really hit me right here. And I didn't really realize how that could actually feel until I started being a part of the Jewish community. So the thing that I want to say, a huge thank you again, I've already mentioned him before, but I'm not even joking. My finisher is talk about Chaim, because I'm not even joking. This guy will go 10 million miles for you. He will show you everything. He will bring you into the faith. He will bring you into the community. He will take everything that you do. You give him 0.1%, he'll give you 99.9%. And then slowly you beat him up, and then you try to beat him, but you can't actually beat him. You can't beat Chaim. Like, that's just too much. So I can't believe where I am right now, talking about the speech, having these people here, having my friends support me, having these people, having Chabad here. I want to say a huge thank you to all of you again, and number one, thank you over here to Chaim for bringing me here.
Cody, Jeremy, Benjamin, Michael, Cheryl. We'd like to present to Guy a brand new pair of tefillin that were made in Israel and were shipped from Israel last week, with his name inscripted on the tefillin bag in velvet, also made in Israel. So,
use this every morning. Every morning. Give me some love. Give me some love.
All right, amazing. Lights, please. I want to say thank you to all of you again for coming here today. A huge mazel tov to everyone here. I want to thank JJ for the video. That was really amazing and really captured everything. I'd also like to say thank you to all the WRC girls for really all the help they've been giving today. Such a big part of it. Also for Benjamin and Michael for setting up today. As you can see, it's beautiful here. Now, we are going to be having some dancing in the back, some hora, some separate dancing. We're going to have a really, really fun time. We're going to cue the music, and following that, we're going to be having dessert. So, again, thank you, and let's have fun.